Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will be covering bacteria and protista. Bacteria, we'll be seeing characteristics, the structural characteristics, nutritions, reproduction of bacteria. And protista, we'll be looking at the three groups and characteristics. So, we first begin with bacteria. Bacteria belongs to kingdom Monera. Bacteria are found everywhere on Earth. Some are pathogenic and cause diseases such as tuberculosis, while most are useful. We will look at key terminologies as well in bacteria and protista. So, prokaryotes are organisms where the nuclear material is not enclosed in a membrane. Eukaryotes are any single or multicellular group of organisms that have a membrane bound nucleus containing genetic material. Flagellum is flagellum or flagella, plural of flagellum is flagella, is a whip-like protruding filament that helps cells or microorganisms move. Autotrophic organisms which can synthesize their own food, example green plants, algae, and some bacteria. Heterotrophic are organisms that source food from its environment because it cannot make its own food, like animals, fungi, and most of the other bacteria. Saprophytic are plants or fungal microorganisms that feed on dead or decaying tissues of other organisms. Right. Then we have binary fission, asexual reproduction of single cells which divide by mitosis. The cell regenerate as two or more separate cells having the same chromosomal identity as the parent cell. Endospore is a tough, protective, non-reproductive bacterial structure that contains DNA and cytoplasm and lies dormant to survive unfavorable environmental conditions in order that it can germinate once the conditions improve. Plasmids is a small circular double-stranded DNA molecule that is distinct from the cell's chromosomal DNA. Let's move on to characteristics. Here is another YouTube video link which you can watch for bacterial cell structure. So bacteria are unicellular, one-celled organisms. Bacteria are larger than viruses and can be seen by using light microscope. Bacteria are distinguished from one another by their shape. Some are round, cocci or coccus. There's a rod-shaped bacillus or bacilli. Other shapes are spirella, and vibrous. Spirella, in the name, it's spiral-shaped, spirillum, and vibrous or vibro, a comma-shaped bacteria. Structural characteristics: they all have a cell wall made up of polysaccharides. Some bacteria have a slime capsule to protect them from drying out, cytoplasm surrounded by a cell membrane, no membrane bound organelles. Right? There's DNA in the form of an irregular loop called a nucleoid. This is important. This might come in the MCQs. Right. Since there are no membrane around the nuclear material, bacteria are said to be prokaryotes. Plasmids circle small circular double-stranded DNA molecules also found in the cytoplasm of bacteria. Many bacteria have a whip-like flagellum which they can use to move in a liquid. Flagella can rotate to propel the organism forward. Here is a diagram of bacteria. A bacillus shaped bacterium. It's a rod like shape. There is a slime layer, a cell wall, cell membrane, there's little ribosomes, and this is the nucleoid, plasmid, and these are the flagella. They move to help the whole this bacteria to move in liquid, right? Most of the time they will ask you to draw the diagram. Always draw it big, neat, and these they have to be in order, in line. Don't write crooked or like up and down. It has to be neat and presentable. Do not shade the diagrams. Never shade the diagrams. Now we have nutrition of bacteria. Some bacteria are autotrophic and there's heterotrophic. Autotrophic meaning they can make their own food, and heterotrophic they can't make their own food. Now in autotrophic there's photosynthetic bacteria that use sunlight energy, while chemosynthetic bacteria get their energy from chemical processes. And heterotrophic bacteria can't manufacture their own food. This includes parasitic bacteria that obtain their food from other organisms. There's saprotrophic bacteria that play an important role as decomposers. They obtain their food from dead organic plants and animals. Mutualistic bacteria that form a relationship with another organism. Both organisms benefit from the relationship. Then we have reproduction of bacteria. Bacteria multiply very quickly under favorable conditions. This is called the cell division. A simple form of cell division is called binary fission. There's one cell, it's getting double, it's going to separate, and we're going to have two bacteria. This is the diagram. They might just show you the diagram and ask you a question, but they won't tell you to make it. Unless you were in grade 10, they would ask you about, you learn in grade 10 about mitosis. Also the same thing. There's one whole cell, things happen inside, they start dividing, there becomes a wall, and then they become two separate cells or bacteria. Bacteria form endospores when conditions are unfavorable. For example, when they lack food, when there is a lack of food, extreme heat, or lack of moisture. Now we have Protista. Kingdom Protista is a collection of eukaryotic organisms. Side note, all kingdoms except Kingdom Monera are eukaryotic. Kingdom Monera is prokaryotic. Protists do not fit into plants, animals, or fungi kingdom. Here we have key terminologies, keywords: aquatic, living in or around water; phytoplankton, very small plants, algae that float on or near the surface of water. Algae, this thing, it feels like mat. You usually find them in moist areas. Green things growing on rocks and all that stuff. You touch it, it's gonna feel like mat. I don't like how it feels. It's weird. Zooplankton, consisting of small animals and the immature stage of larger animals which float on or near the surface of water. There's sessile or sessile, I'll just call it sessile. Organisms are usually permanently attached to something and cannot move on their own but can move through outside sources such as water currents. Characteristics of Protista. Simple unicellular or multicellular eukaryotic organisms. They have no tissue differentiation, found mainly in water. They're autotrophic or heterotrophic. They can be both. Either can make their own food or they can't make their own food. Usually microscopic but can be several meters in length, for example, seaweed. Some are sessile, permanently attached to something and cannot move on their own, but through sources such as water, or free floating, while others can move using flagella, or move using false feet called pseudopodia. Example, amoeba. They can produce both sexually and asexually. Three groups of Protista. The three groups, there's plant-like, animal-like Protista, and algae. Plant-like Protista are mainly unicellular organisms found in aquatic or water environments. Most are autotrophic, make their own food, meaning autotrophic is they can make their own food. Free-floating aquatic plant-like protists are called phytoplankton. These are the examples. Now we have animal-like, mainly heterotrophic, free-living, unicellular animals living in an aquatic environment. Example, amoeba. Heterotrophic, they can't make their own food. They need help. Some are parasitic and cause diseases such as malaria. Free-floating aquatic animals are like protists. Animal-like protists are called zooplankton. Zoo, animals, plankton, protists. There's algae. Multicellular, macroscopic organisms commonly called seaweed. This is red seaweed. You get I think green as well. I've only seen green. Seaweeds contain various photosynthetic pigments which give them a green, red, or brown color. See, I told you there's green as well. Seaweeds may be free floating or sessile, attached to a substrate. This looks like it's attached here. That's it for this video, and we'll continue in the next with fungi. If you like this video, please don't forget to like. If you have any questions, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm covering physical science, business studies, cat, there's and Afrikaans, English, life orientation. Bye. Welcome back everyone. In this video, we will be covering fungi or fungi. We'll be looking at terminologies and characteristics. There is a exercise as well, but I'll make a separate video for that. There's two activities actually. So let's begin. Kingdom fungi include molds, yeast, mildews, rusts, toadstools, and mushrooms. There's chitins, a fibrous substance consisting of polysaccharides, which is the major constituent in the exoskeleton of arthropods and the cell walls of fungi. There's ooh. What I like to do is I like to say it how it's spelled for me to remember the word. There's hype and high. Hype or hyphae. I'd call it hyphae. Is a network of multi-cell thread-like filament forming a mycelium of a fungus. Mycelium is a vegetative mass or network of fungal hyphae found in and on soil or organic substrates. There's multinucleate cells that have more than one nucleus per cell. Example, multiple nuclei shared in one common cytoplasm. There's rhizoids, thread-like structures that anchor lower plants and fungi to a surface. There's budding, a form of asexual reproduction which involves the pinching of the offspring from the parent cell. The offspring cell is genetically identical to the parent. Here we have a few pictures of fungi. This is a toadstools. These are toadstools. Mushrooms. There's bracket fungi and bread molds. Now we look at characteristics. Characteristics of fungi. These ones are common, right? Some are unicellular yeasts, while others are multicellular mushrooms. Eukaryotic have a nuclear membrane. They're heterotrophic since they lack chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what helps plants make their own food. The green plants make their own food through the sun, right? From sunlight. The fungi that live off dead organic matter, are said to be saprotrophic. Parasitic fungi live off living organisms. Fungi cause diseases such as thrush, ringworms, and athlete foot. Cell walls, which contain chitin. Plants have cellulose in their cell walls. The bodies of multicellular fungi are made up of thread-like hyphae. All the hyphae together form a mycelium. The hyphae are often multinucleate, have many nuclei. Fungi reproduce both asexually and sexually. Asexual reproduction in unicellular fungi such as yeast is by budding. In multicellular fungi, asexual reproduction is by means of spores. That's it for this video. We covered characteristics of fungi. We looked at terminologies and some pictures. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be covering the role of microorganisms, role that microorganisms play in maintaining a balance in the environment. We will be covering the key terminologies. Microorganisms as producers in the food chain, role of microorganisms as decomposers, role of bacteria in the nitrogen cycle. Let's begin. Microorganisms play an essential role in the natural recycling of living materials. Key terminologies, there's only two. There's decomposers, organisms that break down dead plants and animals, organic materials, example, bacteria and fungi. Saprophytes, organisms that live off dead organic matter. Microorganisms as producers in food chain. Autotrophic bacteria, phytoplankton and algae can manufacture their own food by photosynthesis. The carbohydrates that produce are available to carbohydrates they produce are available to consumers. These organisms form a first link in the food chain. Oxygen, the waste product of photosynthesis, is available to other organisms for respiration, like us humans. Role of decomposers. Role of microorganisms as decomposers. Bacteria and fungi are the main decomposers. They break down dead plants and animals remains and return the nutrients to the soil. Organisms which break down dead organic matter to obtain nutrients are called saprophytes. Role of bacteria in the nitrogen cycle. Bacteria play an important role in the nitrogen cycle. Free living bacteria can convert atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia and nitrate. Higher plants can only use nitrogen when it is in the form of nitrates, so they rely on bacteria for the conversion. Some plants form special relationship with nitrogen fixing bacteria. When plants and animals die, denitrifying bacteria return nitrogen into atmosphere by the process called denitrification. Right, everyone, this is the end of this video. If you have any questions, or please comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.